Keep your GM car all GM. This is when stuff was made in the USA. Flint, Michigan, AC Spark Plug Division. We're walking around Muclepalooza. It's 2019. I decided I want to buy one of each. Nothing's good enough for me. I've got 3 409s, and here's another one. But I'm not buying it because it's too nice. It is a 62 Biscayne built with a 409. It's got the silver valve covers, 2 4-barrel Carters. It is original, restored, first place winner. Got the extra wide wheels, and they are 14-inch. Muclepalooza 2009. She's real fine. I've got 3 409s, and there's a couple more here. This one is so nice. I'm going to ask the gentleman what color this yellow is. What's interesting is it is a Biscayne, which is the cheapy model, but it does have sun visors, but no day-night mirror. It has a different dog leg shifter. Mine is a reproduction. It doesn't quite look correct, but it does have an AM radio. 4-speed, fine 409. The correct tack. The cheapy interior. Mine's an upgrade. She's real fine, my 409. It doesn't even have the piece of trim. Mine's got the belt molding piece of trim. It's got a tinted windshield, polished windshield wipers. It is a beauty. I did notice that mine has the screw-together fuel pump, which I guess is more authentic. This one has the correct glass bowl filter, 2 Carter AFBs, aluminum 4-barrel. Now, if it's a 409, it has a center dump exhaust. There was, I think on the 425 horse, the exhaust manifold swept further backwards. Now, there is a fellow here that specializes in 348s, which have the dipstick on the driver's side, and 409s, and I'm going to ask him, when I meet up with him, the distinctions between a 62 409 horse and a 63 425 horse. Now, interestingly, this has power robbing, power steering. None of my cars have anything. Plain Jane. Just the way I like them. A couple of burned out T3s. They may still work, but they're getting old. Look how nice this 409 is. Chevrolet. Back when cars were cars. I went to a hotel last night in Albany, and I locked the keys in the car, and a guy showed up at 1 o'clock in the morning to crank the door open, to pop the lock, and his plastic tools wouldn't bring the frame back. And then he put his airbag in. It was all he could do to crank on it and stick his little magic tool in and whoop, pull the door open. Yeah, I should have spare keys. I normally do, but not last night. But he popped the door open. Great guy, but I said to him, this is back when cars were cars and steel was steel and men were men. Would you mind firing up this 409? We hear it rumble. It's got stock exhaust with the big old mufflers hanging down. Got the big old mufflers. Dead stock. Genuine, authentic restoration. The correct shades, the correct light. What's this color called, this yellow?
I just call it a beige. There is a technical color for it. And believe it or not, I forgot the exact name of the color.
Well, I could guess and call it bamboo cream, but I have no idea. I do not know what color yellow, and interestingly, there's a 64 GTO right beside it that used to be marimba red, and now it's this beautiful light yellow. He told me the name of the color. I thought it was Mayfair Maize, but it's not. Let's hear this 409, fire up.
We lost them already, Butch. I'm going to close the hood in case it... I don't think it'll go down. This won't go down when I start it.
I could hold it. I can put a hand on it. Genuine factory 409. The Beach Boys sang their song in 1961. It was actually a 348. Let's crank that baby up. Clatter, clatter, clatter. What is she idling at?
Right now, 500.
Huh, mine idles at 750. It's supposed to have a Z11 cam, but I don't think so.
Yeah, Z11's a 63 cam.
That's what the fellow said he put into it, but it just sounds too mild. You never know, you got 409 horsepower. Great car with some period authentic gauges. You got a lot more oil pressure than I do also. You got 55 pounds. I don't know, maybe I've got a cheap gauge. The correct dog leg shifter. Rattle, rattle. A clutch fan, the correct fan shroud with the correct spacer. Clatter, clatter, clatter. The horsepower race was on. America hadn't yet invaded Vietnam. That was to come in a couple more years. Thank you very much. We're going to wander around a bit and show people what else they could have bought back in 1962, 63, 64. John DeLorean and Jim Wanger said they'll put a tiger in your tank and they'll sell you a 64 Le Mans GTO with a 389, 335 horse or a 348 if you opted for the tri-power. And if you wanted to get an automatic, well, that's your problem, but I would put a 204R and get at least the overdrive. Lower first gear, steeper first gear, but you could have had a 3-speed standard or a 4-speed Saginaw T10 and 64. This one's got power windows. It's pretty uncommon. As I mentioned, this was a marimba red car, and now it's this light shade of yellow. And I like the 64 GTO and the 65. Speaking of which, there's a 65 right there. Wow, it's rusted. There are so many beautiful cars here. There's some new ones, there's some ones we've seen before. I like the Buicks. Wouldn't mind a Challenger, a Mopar in my garage. If I had to have a Ford, maybe it would be a Tasca 1968.5 Ford 28 Mustang. We'll talk about this car in a minute.